Finance Committee at 3:02 p.m. on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. Do we have to introduce ourselves?
I think we are good.
We are good. Right, so may I have a motion for approval of the October 15th agenda or any suggestions for additions or deletions?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it. Okay. It has been approved and seconded. May all those in favor of approval?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, approval of the September 9th minutes, which I know we all got copies of.
Motion to approve as presented.
May I have a second?
Second.
And a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed. Okay. Right, open to the public. We don't even have the dogs here.
Dogs here.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No comment from the.
And the door is open.
And the door is open. We do not have any public, so I am going to close that portion of the meeting. Right, executive director's report.
All right, well, I'm going to start off with the bad news. Friday, Greg put in his notice for 2 weeks. He'll be leaving on the 25th. Super sad. I mean, you all know the level of talent he has brought in at such a young, early age. But ultimately, he has decided an office setting is not for him. So he's going to take a big shift in a career and go do something else. I think ultimately it was, a real test to see what this would be like for him. He's been super successful in the classic sense, but it really just, at the end of the day, hasn't been a good fit for him. So, we were just feeling like we had a very trained, solid staff, and we were looking to add to that staff. So this really puts us in a bit of a pinch. For reference, Greg has been leading our Brownfields program. He just secured a $1.2 million federal grant. He's leading the WIB. He's leading the Economic Development District. And he's leading 2 municipal technical assistance projects. And 2 local hazard mitigation plans. So he's all over the place.
Wow.
So the 2 hazard mitigation plans will have Stephanie and Maggie take over. So we're able to absorb that pretty well. The rest of the work, however, I will take over and carry forward in the short term, as I always have to do when somebody leaves. But we will be looking to try to get somebody in here as soon as possible. On the good news, I did interview a senior planner last week. That went extremely well. I would like to make the offer to them this week after I clear their references. They are coming from Florida, however, if they were to accept the offer. So, wouldn't be until probably mid to late November until we got somebody in here. That being said, that position was really meant to be above and beyond what we already have. So we'd be sort of looking to replace Greg as well with another position. Preferably a entry-level planner would be great, very similar to Greg. MK and I were able to sit down with him. I think he's leaving on really, really good terms. And things went about as well as they could have gone, and that, there's nothing we could have done to change his mind, which was nice to hear. Working conditions, the staff, everything are great. Again, it's just not a right fit.
You didn't threaten him.
No threats.
He wants to be.
We did our best to sort of see if there's anything we could do, but ultimately, it's going to look for opportunities in education or healthcare. So a complete pivot. He is not staying in planning whatsoever. And I think, a commute. His commute was also a difficult one, having just moved to Burlington, the commute to Rutland's quite a bit. So we will certainly miss Greg, and we thank him a ton for what he's done in 10 months here. You know, he's really made a lasting impact. He's got his regional plan chapter to a place where, you know, we can continue to refine it, and, you know, go from there. So
You handle brownfields now or?
I will in the short term. Luckily, I've done it before. I don't want to do any of this by any means. I really don't have the time, but that's what it will take to keep things moving along. And the rest of our staff are really just too maxed out to take on anything more than what they already are doing. So, not ideal by any means, but this is the nature of the business, you know. This is the first hire I've made that is left. So that one stings a little bit, but it's bound to happen, you know. So, you know, he'll be here through the 25th. So he will be at the board meeting next week, and I would like to say something nice, you know, to the board to sort of wish him well in his next endeavor. Any questions on that?
No, sad to see him go.
Yeah, I
He
agree.
was great.
Yeah.
He really was.
Yeah.
So let's hope we can get Greg 2.0 in here. That would be great. Other things are going very smoothly. Our programs are all moving very well. We have no new funding coming in right now. Everything is pretty locked in, which is nice. We are planning to bring to the board an updated budget in November because the one you all approved in June did not include the Work 6 grant or several other recent fundings that we've gotten. For instance, we got 2 grants to establish neighborhood development areas in Brandon and Fairhaven. Those were unanticipated. We only budgeted for 2 hazard mitigation plans. We currently have 4, and we may have a 5th. So yeah, we want to come to the board with a better picture and change some of the line items around. So that'll happen in November. We're in full audit season right now. MK has been working a ton. Karen's been helping a lot, which has been great. We have to get that pretty much all buttoned up by the end of next week, and have everything submitted by the end of October. So the plan, similar to last year, because we're bumping this out, is to have our Christmas or holiday meeting in early December. I believe we're doing it on the 9th this year. It's a combined executive committee annual meeting. And really the only reason we need to open up a meeting at all is to approve the audit before the end of the year. So we will strive to have a quorum. I'm hopeful that having the meeting earlier in the month will be less conflicts with family time. Last year, we really came up against it. But similar format, if possible, would be great.
So the audit has to be approved by the full governing board, not just the executive finance committee.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in a pinch, could we make the recommendation and be okay? Yeah. The board bylaws do allow for that, but knowing that we have some time and we can forecast it, I think would be great.
Okay.
So you probably all saw the municipal dues for FY26. That memo went out on Friday. So thank you all for getting me comments on that. I feel good about where it's at. So far, I've only received a couple emails back from towns and they were positive, saying, hey, the RPC's got to pay its bills too. We understand. Some towns are happy to see a reduction, like Hubbardton, you know. Other towns like Rutland City, it will be, you know, a bigger ask. So, you know, I said in that memo, I'll go out to towns and speak to the boards when requested and appropriate. Great. Yeah.
Did those go to town administrators and managers? Because in our case, you sent it to Val Taylor, who's not there anymore.
Yeah, so every town, it went to the commissioner, the select board chair, the clerk,
Okay.
and the if they had a town administrator or manager.
Sure.
So up to 4 emails on each one. I'll try to, if I don't hear from folks, I'll try to send a follow-up. We may even send it snail mail as well, just to make sure that it gets there. But hopefully, if y'all hear in your respective towns any discussion about this, feel free to weigh in or just give me a heads up if the conversation turns sort of potentially negative. I'll be happy to fill in those conversations. So yeah, ultimately only 11 of the 27 towns will see increases of more than $500. So the impacts won't be felt everywhere, which is the whole point of this thing.
Except for one.
Except for one. Yeah, Rutland City.
Training from.
So yeah, we'll do our best there. Otherwise, things are moving along. Seems to be good. Yeah, I don't have much else. Yeah, it'll be a quick one.
All right, so the October Board of Commissioners agenda.
Yes, so no community committee. We have no town plans to review, so that's good. We will have a few section 248 at regional committee in Leona. So they actually requested that they present to the regional committee a couple of these solar developers. Jeremy is doing a big review and will present to the committee as well, so he will be there to support us.
Okay.
I have not looked at, the Act 250 list yet, but I haven't received a whole lot of emails saying there are new applications, so we'll see. I'll pull the list down. I don't expect to have too much to talk about there. The big agenda item, though, will be reviewing the draft policies as an entire commission. So that'll take some time. Originally, we had scheduled the Otter Creek Tactical Basin Plan public hearing for that meeting. It's actually tonight instead. So it'll freeze up our October agenda to really just focus on those draft policies. We're essentially going to model it exactly like the feedback session one, where we whiteboard the policies. I'm going to send everything out ahead of time so folks can review it, and we don't have to spend so much time sort of like doing a general introduction and overview to every chapter. We can sort of just jump right into the policies, because it took us at that first feedback session with only 3 or 4 public there over 2 hours to get through them. So we'd like to condense that way down, knowing that there will be a lot more commissioners there and probably with stronger ideas and opinions. So we will do that in real time. And that's really going to be the majority of the meeting. Every one of our staffers who's an author will be there, just sort of go over their own policies. So it'd be a good chance for interface between the entire staff and the board. But that's really it for October.
Wow.
Any questions? Great.
All right, well, any other comments?
Oh, one last thing on the agenda.
No, we're,
We are skipping the finances for the month because we're busy with audit, so we don't have anything to review. We'll double up in the following months.
yeah, that's pretty common.
Yeah, we do that year to year typically, so that's it.
All right, any other comments, questions? Then I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Then we are adjourned. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
And we are adjourned at 15:17, 17 minutes after 3.
That was.
We
So
should have just said nay, stay here. No.